President Eisenhower signed treaty with gray aliens in 1954. President Dwight Eisenhower held a secret meeting with extraterrestrial visitors during the early hours of February 21, 1954, while on a vacation to Palm Springs in California, according to UFO and alien conspiracy theorists. By John Thomas Didymus. He went missing after he was whisked away secretly to Edwards Air Force Base and was not seen until he appeared at a church service in Los Angeles the next Sunday morning. The official explanation of his mysterious disappearance was that he had to undergo an emergency dental surgery. The abrupt disappearance of the president was so unusual that it fueled speculations about illness or death in the media. The speculations became so intense that they had to be dispelled by the president's press secretary James Haggerty, who told incredulous reporters at a press conference that Eisenhower had damaged a tooth cap while eating fried chicken and had to undergo an emergency surgery. A local dentist was later presented to reporters who claimed he had treated Eisenhower. But strange rumors began spreading following information leaked by well-placed sources. The rumors alleged that the local dentist was used to provide Eisenhower with a cover story while he rendezvoused secretly with extraterrestrial visitors at the Edwards Air Force Base. Significantly, there are no records at the Eisenhower Library, which reportedly has extensive records related to Eisenhower's health, that he ever underwent dental surgery in February 1954, according to UFO researcher William Moore. Eisenhower thus became the first American president to have direct contact with extraterrestrials, according to conspiracy theorists. The meeting took place at Edwards Air Force Base, AFB, in Southern California during the early hours of February 21 in 1954. It was the first in a series of meetings that culminated in the signing of a treaty between the U.S. government and an extraterrestrial race called the Greys. The first contact meeting, as it is termed in UFO conspiracy theory circles, involved some intrigue. Eisenhower's secret first contact meeting on February 21, 1954, is believed to have been with Nordic aliens, also known as Pleiadian aliens, an advanced extraterrestrial race from the Pleiades star cluster with distinctive Nordic appearance, such as fair hair, blue eyes, and white skin. The two sides were unable to reach an agreement on the night of the first contact and the Greys took advantage by offering more favorable terms. The offer by the Greys allegedly led to the first treaty between humans and an extraterrestrial race. According to UFO conspiracy theorists, several pieces of circumstantial evidence add up to support claims that the Eisenhower administration held first contact meetings with extraterrestrial beings. The first circumstantial evidence was the awkward manner in which Eisenhower disappeared during the night of February 20 to 21 in the midst of an unscheduled winter vacation in Palm Springs, California, and the clumsy efforts by officials to explain his disappearance. One of the first eyewitness testimonies came from Gerald Light, a writer and leading member of the community dedicated to metaphysical research. A letter circulated widely in the UFO and alien conspiracy community, dated April 16, 1954, is alleged to have been written by Gerald Light to Meade Lane, director of Borderland Sciences Research Foundation. In the letter, see copy here, Light allegedly claimed to have been one of a group of community leaders who was present at the first contact meeting with extraterrestrials at Edwards Air Force Base. The group of community leaders included Edwin Norse, President Truman's chief economic advisor, Cardinal James Francis McIntyre, head of the Catholic Church in Los Angeles at the time, and 80-year-old Franklin Winthrop Allen, a former reporter with Hearst newspaper group. Light claimed in the letter he allegedly wrote to Lane that he returned recently from Muroc Airfield, now Edwards Air Force Base. The letter contains a single reference to Etherians, presumed to be the aliens, and includes a comment about 5 separate and distinct types of aircraft being studied and handled by our Air Force officials, with the assistance and permission of the Etherians. The aircraft are believed to be alien UFOs stored at the facility for reverse engineering studies. The letter gives a vivid description of the bewilderment, confusion, and panic among officials present at the meeting. UFO conspiracy theorists claim that Light's account reveals uncertainty about how to respond to the aliens and fears in the circumstances of the Cold War that the aliens could turn to the Soviets if the Americans spurned them. But it is claimed that Eisenhower finally decided to reject the proposals of the Nordic aliens he met at the first contact meeting at the Edwards Air Force Base in February 1954, and his administration eventually signed a treaty with the Greys who offered technology transfer. Several whistleblowers claimed to have seen documents signed at the meetings, while others claimed they obtained information from inside sources. The different versions of what allegedly transpired at the first contact meetings leaked by whistleblowers agree on certain major points but differ in specific details. One of the best-known whistleblowers, William Cooper, a former naval intelligence officer who allegedly had access to classified documents, claimed that the first contact meeting at the Edwards Air Force Base in February 1954 was the culmination of a series of events after astronomers discovered a fleet of huge UFOs approaching Earth in 1953. First mistaken for asteroids, they were later determined to be spaceships. Alien radio signals were allegedly intercepted under Project Sigma, just before the UFOs went into high orbit. Project Plato was launched to receive the aliens and hold talks. But before the aliens approaching in a huge UFO fleet landed, a different alien race contacted the US government and warned against the first group of aliens. But talks with the second group failed after they demanded nuclear disarmament and warned that humanity was on a path to self-destruction. They proposed instead to help humans to develop along a peaceful path to spiritual fulfillment. Because the primary interest of the U.S. government at the time was signing a treaty that gives access to advanced alien technology, the Eisenhower administration rejected the overtures from the second alien group, the Nordic aliens, during the first contact meeting at the Edwards Air Base and agreed to sign a treaty with the second group, the Greys, during the subsequent meeting at the Holloman Air Force Base in New Mexico in 1954. Elements of the sketchy account given by Cooper were allegedly confirmed independently by other whistleblowers, such as Charles Suggs, a former retired U.S. Marine Corps sergeant, who claimed that his father, a senior naval officer, had attended the first contact meeting with Nordic aliens in February 1954. John Lear, another independent whistleblower, was a former Air Force pilot and son of William Lear who built the Lear jet. Lear also confirmed that two alien races had been involved in the first contact meetings. Robert Dean, a former intelligence officer, described Nordic aliens as humanoids with Nordic features, and the Greys as tall humanoids up to 9 feet tall, with pale white skin, large eyes, large head, and spindly limbs. Greys allegedly originated from a star in the constellation of Orion. Other reports claimed they came from a planet in the star system Zeta Reticuli. Details of the agreement with the Greys leaked by whistleblowers include non-interference in human affairs in exchange for accommodation on Earth under conditions of secrecy. In return, they would furnish the U.S. government with advanced technology to help the country to stay ahead of enemy nations. The Greys also agreed they would not approach any other nation to make a treaty. The Greys were housed in an underground facility in Dulce where Phil Schneider claimed he encountered them while working as a geological engineer employed by a private company contracted to build underground bases for the Greys. Schneider revealed that part of the treaty agreement allowed the Greys to abduct a very limited number of humans for medical research and experiments. But the Greys proved untrustworthy and violated the agreement on abductions. Grey aliens conduct medical research experiments on human abductees, image via Shutterstock. Most reports of UFO sightings and stories of abductions involved Greys operating under but freely violating the treaty with the government, according to UFO conspiracy theorists.